place, age, or stage, students from a range of backgrounds become business problem solvers at the Carl H. Lindner College of Business. My name is Grant Freaking, Manager of College Communications and Marketing at Lindner. Today I'm joined by fourth-year student Francis Christian and third-year student Miller Anderson to hear about their journeys to Lindner, what the everyday life of a business student looks like, tips for prospective and current students, and much more. Welcome, Francis and Miller.
Hi, Grant. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Francis, I'll start with you. Can you share a bit about where you're from, how you ended up at Lindner, and what are you studying?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio, so 2 hours north from here. I went to Olentangy Orange High School. I'm currently studying finance with a certificate in business analytics, and I ended up at Lindner because a college recruiter my junior year came to talk more about it, and they said something about internships and co-ops, and as I did more research on it, I realized that would be the best way for me to succeed and set myself up for post-grad. And I found out Cincinnati was the #1 co-op school in the nation, so then I ended up coming here.
Good to know those high school campus visits pay off for undergrad admissions team. Miller, how about you?
Yeah, I was drawn to the same values of Cincinnati, but a little bit of a different story. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama originally, and Cincinnati was not on my radar at all until one of my high school friends wanted to tour DAP for the interior design program. So I came for the sake of a fun road trip and then ended up falling in love with Cincinnati and the university as a whole. I really loved the city and all the opportunities, and that there was so much to do, and that it was a big school, but also that Lindner could feel like a really small, tight-knit community. And I also had toured a lot of colleges and found that Lindner does experience-based learning really well, like Francis mentioned, and just was drawn to the co-op program. And then I was really sold when I attended a college close-up and heard Lindner ambassadors who are students representing the college talk about their experiences, specifically within the Lindner Business Honors Program. So yeah, just from like touring and getting to know the college better, I really loved it and found that there wasn't another college that measured up to it.
That's great to hear. Now, it's not uncommon, of course, for out-of-state students to be at Lindner or UC, but I think you're the first one I've ever met that's from Alabama.
Yeah, I get that a lot. Most people are like, "Oh, why are you here?" But
Right,
it's fun.
right. Let me build off that. What do you remember specifically, I guess, about the admissions process, especially since you were not only from out-of-state, but a little further out-of-state than most normal students from UC and Lindner?
Right. So I applied to like a wide range of colleges, mainly through the Common App. And so Cincinnati was pretty easy to tag onto that Common App and then submit my essays through that. And then I was contacted later to be interviewed for the Lindner Business Honors Program, so further steps kind of followed throughout the admissions process. But what I do remember is that there were admissions advisors always ready to answer questions I had and that reached out to me about different aspects. So I never felt like I was like stranded or alone, because I know that that time can be really overwhelming, and there was just a lot going on in my life too that I was, trying to find the best college and keep everything on my radar, make sure I didn't miss any deadlines. But the communication between the university and applicants was really great. Yeah,
it's picking a college is like your first career decision almost, right? Yeah. Francis, what about you?
Yeah, for me, very similar. My application went through the Common App, so it was very easy to navigate with my original essay and my supplemental essays as well. I remember signing up to multiple resume or essay review sessions, so like what Cincinnati was looking for in their essays, what kind of stuff not to add, also more stuff about the college overall, what I would be doing if and when I decided to go there. So just signing up to those optional programs really helped out and really made my decision a lot more easier when it came time to decide where I want to go for college.
An informed decision, I like that. Miller, what recommendations or tips would you give to prospective students and their parents or guardians, since those are big factors in choosing college too, who are definitely surely stressing out about filling out applications and trying to rank college choices?
Yeah, gosh, it's so hard. It does feel like a really heavy decision. I would say not to limit your options. If you're interested in a school, I would say just to go ahead and apply to it and really put in the work and the effort to give it your best shot. I had parents and counselors and college students review my essays and my applications and kind of give me feedback and advice. And then when I had to do interviews, practice doing mock interviews. So I think there's ways like that to set yourself up for success better. But at the end of the day, just to give it your all and take a deep breath and know that it will all work out. And it's not, it doesn't need to be as much pressure as sometimes we can make it
Sure. Francis, what about general thoughts? And you went into specifics in your previous answer, but sort of general thoughts about maybe some time management or your personal pathway to success to finding your college.
Yeah, I would definitely say I reaffirm that idea of signing up to those optional events and workshops. They're definitely worth it. It gives you a peek insight of what your life could be like as a college student. Also, to choose a school that best fits your interests overall. So if you're looking to do like engineering or business, I really do recommend Cincinnati because we have amazing business and engineering programs, and the internship and co-op program really support them and set our students up for post-grad success. Versus if you want to go for school, if you want to study something like English or forensic science or something like that, go to a school that focuses on that and will give you the best resources available there. And it's okay to not go to a school that all your friends are going to, or your best friends, or that your parents want you to go to. At the end of the day, like, you're the one who has to experience that. So do what's best for you, not what's best for others.
Yep, stay in control of your own journey. Now, Francis, you're at the end of your academic journey, at least for undergrad. What are some of the classes you're taking right now and some of the activities and organizations you're involved in?
Yeah, so some classes I'm taking right now is spreadsheet analytics, which is very simple, just an Excel class, learning how to fully utilize Excel with all its functions and how to apply that to real world work. I'm also taking cases in corporate finance as well, just learning about different financial cases that have gone on in the past and how to fully utilize and how to be in the mindset of a financial analyst overall. And another fun class I'm doing a study abroad later in December, and I'm currently going to Dubai. So that's been one class I'm taking right now. So I'm learning more about the culture there and how they conduct business, and that's just some of the classes I'm taking this fall semester.
Awesome. Miller, I think I might need to sign up for Francis's Excel class because I'm pretty weak in that area. But what about you and your interest in academic course load?
Yeah, so I'm studying marketing. In tangent to that, I'm studying psychology and professional sales as minors. So I wanted to come in and get an education that was in the business school, but as people focused as I could get it. So I'm taking a lot of marketing electives right now, one of those being branding, which is my favorite class I think I've taken to date at the University of Cincinnati. So that's really fun when something that you're passionate about and that you enjoy, you can take in a class. It makes the learning part really easy. And then I'm also taking operations management and a couple of psychology classes, and then some other marketing electives as well.
Cool. And what about some stuff that's outside the classroom? What are you involved in?
Yeah, so I am involved in Lindner Ambassadors, an organization I mentioned previously, which is really fun just to get to know other students at the Lindner College of Business and get to build relationships with them, as well as to give back to UC and Lindner and tell prospective students and their parents about the college and what I love about it, why I decided to go here. It's really fun to share my story in that way. And then I'm also involved in Young Life, which is a volunteer organization giving back to local communities in the area. And then the Lindner Business Honors Program, like I mentioned previously, has just been a really great community and way to network with other students and find out about different opportunities, whether that be a co-op or an organization or just an event at UC that I should be involved in.
So you're already firmly entrenched in the ways of time management already here.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you got to be.
Yeah. Francis, what about some of your organizations you're involved in?
Yeah, so I've been involved in multiple organizations, but my active involvements include Business Fellows, which is an organization for Native Americans, African Americans, as well as first-gen students as well, as a safe space for them as well, and how to navigate college overall. I'm currently on the exec board for that as the Vice President of Professional Engagement. I actually had my first event last night with Cintas, where they got to come in and talk about their internship programs and how post-grad life works.
Great.
Previously, last year, I was also the Vice President of Recruitment, so working closely with Lindner Admissions and working with prospective students and convincing them why they should come to Lindner and join Business Fellows as well. And then other than that, I'm an active brother of Delta Sigma Pi, which is one of our business fraternities here. Okay. I just recently joined, but it has been a very fun experience so far. I've met a lot of amazing people, expanded my own personal and professional network, and those are just two of my active involvements right now.
Awesome. Now, a couple weeks ago within the building, there was the student organization fair, so to speak, where you can, especially the first year students come through and they kind of get the car wash of all the different opportunities they have in front of them. I'm sure you two did something similar, experienced something similar during your first years at Lindner. Francis, when you were going through that experience, how did you determine which organizations and clubs sort of best fit your interest and which you had how many you could take on to fit your time needs? Walk me through that process.
Yeah, I guess freshman year, I just joined organizations and clubs I felt best aligned with my personal and professional goals. Like,
Okay.
will I be able to like professionally develop and be ready to like set myself up for interviews, or like full-time, part-time work and all that stuff. I also went based off of friends' recommendations
Okay.
and what seemed to interest me as well. Would I see myself being in an exec position? Like, would I enjoy going to these weekly or bi-weekly meetings overall, and just trying to see if the values of those organizations aligned with my own personal values.
Right on. Miller, was something similar for you?
Yeah, I had a similar experience to Francis. I just really paid attention at the different org fairs and postings within Lindner, and friends and upperclassmen that I had met within Lindner, and really got to like ask them and hear about clubs that they were involved in and organizations that they recommended getting involved in. And then kind of went through the same process of like, if this aligns with something that I would want to do, my values, and something that's going to benefit me as a student and as a future professional, then I would try it out. So there's been a few that I have been involved in and then had too much on my plate. So you kind of do like trial and error of like getting to meet people and do different clubs for a certain semester and then trying something else the next semester. So it's been fun to just meet a lot of people and try different organizations. And there's definitely something for everyone. And for everyone who has like different passions, I have friends in different organizations across campus that it's just really fun to like hear about their experiences as well.
Sure. Thanks for sharing. Now, you've both completed multiple co-op experiences. Miller, you've spent time with Kinetic Vision and Ullaman Shudi Construction. Can you walk listeners through how you pursued and ended up securing these co-ops?
Yeah, so when I first got to campus, I was nervous about finding a co-op because everyone talks about it, and it's a big deal within Lindner College of Business, rightfully so. And so I first went to different career fairs and researched a lot of the companies before going to those, applied for jobs before going to those, and then talked to as many employers as I can and followed up with them. And then UC also uses Handshake, which is a platform, I believe just for students, to network with different employers, kind of like LinkedIn, and hear about different jobs and apply through that platform. So I did that as well. And then we also have just a huge alumni network that career coaches have helped set me up with different alumni that are interested in similar things as I am. So I've gotten coffee with them before and talked to my career coach about different people that I should reach out to for certain opportunities that I was exploring.
Sounds like a textbook journey to me. I think
Yeah.
career coaches would be proud to hear that one. Francis, you've done co-ops with Bank of America, General Electric, and KeyBank. How did you land those co-ops?
Yeah, so I can go in chronological order. So with KeyBank, my friend told me to apply for a diversity summit at KeyBank. A diversity summit that KeyBank was hosting. After I got to talk to the recruiter a bit more and told him how I was more, at the time I was interested in financial advising and wealth management, and he sent me the application. I was able to go through the application process and ended up securing an internship with them where I worked as a wealth management intern in Cleveland last summer. And then with GE, I actually got an email from Handshake saying, you are qualified for this position. Would you like to apply? And I was like, you know what? Why not? I did a bit more research. I do have some friends who work there full time. So I contacted them who did the internship and asked them more about it, how they liked it, and why they ended up going full time. So I just put in an application after hearing good things about them, did my interview after that, and ended up doing an internship with them. Or a co-op this past spring semester, while I was also taking some classes as well as a financial management program intern in the internal audit section, which was a really amazing opportunity. I loved it a lot. And then with Bank of America, it's actually a funny story. I found it through TikTok. Actually, a consultant TikToker was on my For You page, and the video was like, DM me for a list of consulting internships. So I thought, why not? I DM'd him. He emailed me the list of multiple like consulting firms along with banks and accounting firms that had consulting arms. And I was very surprised to see Bank of America had one, but I thought, why not? So I applied, ended up getting a higher view. Then I had to do a case study in behavioral, and then a month later they gave me an offer, which was really awesome. So I really like telling that story, how I found that job through TikTok. So.
Yeah, that's a first for me in hearing that story. An internship gathered through TikTok, but hey, as long as it worked out for you, that's great to hear. Now, co-op is just one component of Linder's experiential learning apparatus, which is meant to provide students like Miller and Francis with a litany of real-world applications to try on for size. Students can get involved with anything from case studies, classroom role plays, and capstone projects, to study abroad, study away, and linking up with one of Linder's 9 centers and institutes. Miller, aside from co-op, what other experiences at Linder do you feel have increased your readiness to be a professional?
Yeah, honestly, I would say every experience at Lindner has increased my readiness to be a professional. Within the classroom, I have gotten to do a lot of different role plays, whether that be for like intro to marketing. We got to like pretend run a business with different groups, working on a lot of group projects for companies. So my freshman year, I was placed on a team with 6 other students in my cohort, and we did a project for Cintas and got to run a SWOT analysis for them, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and then come up with a strategic innovation and then presented it to them within the first semester of my freshman year. So the classroom itself is a great way to gain these experiences. It's not always just getting lectured at. And then also organizations that I've been involved in have really helped prepare me, as well as different networking events and things put on by the Lindner College of Business. And then I would say the most impactful one is study abroad. So I've completed 2 study abroad trips, and they've been probably my favorite experiences during my time here so far. The first one was with my business honors cohort to Querétaro, Mexico during spring break my freshman year. And then the second one was this past summer. It was a Maymester trip to Czech Republic and Albania. And so both of those were more short-term trips, so I wasn't studying in a classroom over there, but visiting different businesses, communicating with employers up there, working on projects, as well as doing a lot of cultural excursions and experiences. So those were just really fun to kind of round out my education and learn about business and different cultures. And I got to meet a lot of really cool people that attend UC on those trips. And it's just fun to get to go different places and experience new things.
Yeah, that sounds like some well-rounded experience. It's good to see you've been able to kind of pick some different tools out of the toolbox, to continue my metaphor there. Francis, what about you?
Yeah, definitely. I'll hammer in the first year experience. My freshman year, project impact, innovation, and SWOT analysis definitely, I feel like, helped prepare me for project impact. I was a project lead, so organizing my classmates and making sure we were able to do the best case for that nonprofit we were working with. But I will say I feel like the most development I've gotten is outside the classroom with my involvements. I've been involved in multiple organizations such as Residence Hall Association as the director of finance, so Welcome Week and all those events, and we were in charge of that. And I was like the one making sure, like, can we afford this, yes or no?
It's a big responsibility there.
Yeah, and making sure maintaining our budget, I feel like, helped me understand the finance portion of like running a business or organization. With Lindner Tribunal, which is the College of Business Tribunal, working directly with the dean's office along with student government. I served as the external vice president, so hopping on those career fair calls and organizing them to make sure everything went smoothly, gathering volunteers, like how to get people to want to help out and give back as well. And last year I served as the president, so looking over all the operations, working very closely with the deans and remaking the president's cabinet, organizing monthly meetings with each president of every organization within Lindner to like hear how we can better support them as students as well as business problem solvers. I was part of NEO Initiative, which is a consulting organization, last fall because I knew I wanted to get into consulting. So that really helped me get a better understanding and idea of how consultants think, how it works, and we were doing real world work with with Black-owned businesses within the Cincinnati area. So the projects we were doing were very impactful and were very real, in fact. And off campus as well. Or on campus, I also work as a RA, a resident advisor, so hosting multiple events a month or throughout the semester and connecting with residents to make sure they feel welcome, helping problem solve with any issues they may have between roommates or neighbors and all of that. I was also a PACE leader my sophomore year, which was a very good experience, which really tested my leadership skills at the time. And I will say I wasn't really the best PACE leader, but I think it was good. It made me realize that there are things I need to work on. I do need to work better with connecting people on a personal level, and I would not have realized that if I had not done that experience.
That's good. You've got that nice diverse array of experiences, because that's similar to working in the real world of like, you're not going to just be insulated to your team. You're going to have to reach out across departments and divisions and work with people to advance whatever objective that your team or your company has. So that's all great real world experiences, we'd like to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We'll close with this. Fondest memory or most poignant moment from your time at Lindner? Miller, I'll start with you. Put you on the spot.
Yeah, goodness. I would say I talked about my study abroad experiences. I think those are my fondest memories. One in particular in Mexico, my classmates and I hiked up the Peña de Bernal, which is basically just a big mountain, and we were like hanging on the side of a cliff. There's like a rope you have to hold on to, and we're just shuffling our feet, and our professor's leading us. Like, I don't know if this is safe, but you guys are doing great. Just keep going. And so experiences like that where you just get to have fun with your classmates while also like learning. I would say that those are my favorite. And I've also just made a lot of really good friends through the Lindner College of Business and through taking classes with them that Cincinnati has quickly become my new home. And just like the community that I've built here, specifically through Lindner, has just been like really special and impactful to me as a person. And also I know will impact my future as a professional as well.
Great. Well, we're glad you feel welcome here. Francis?
Yeah, wow, that's a really tough one. There's so many I could choose. I would say not one specific moment, but like anytime I'm working on a group project and we're working late and strategizing on like how to solve this specific problem or finish this project, or even studying for like a math exam, getting together with classmates and friends, like they were very one of my favorite times. Just goofing around for a little bit and saying, okay guys, let's focus, and then messing around again and saying, okay, let's focus again. I think just those small tiny moments of camaraderie I cherished and value in some of my favorite moments here so far.
Awesome. Well, my thanks to Francis Christian and Miller Anderson for dropping by the Lindner Podcast Studio today. I appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Of course. Please subscribe, rate, and review Bearcats Mean Business wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks for tuning in. Go Bearcats.